It's like, I shot 170, I was thrilled. Like, it was hard. It's hard. It's hard to get them all, especially over 200.
Where these could be.
Especially in
Good.
Northbrook.
Happy with that?
Happy with that. It wasn't nutty Northbrook. Nuts binding.
You're nuts binding. Don't talk to me about that. Did you get that on tape?
No.
Damn it. Let's do a rerun. Take 2. Nuts binding. But there's so much involved that people don't understand. I wore the wrong shirt for that, especially my shirt.
It's all right.
Don't have a shirt. Remember what I talked about? Yes. Standing in the cage. Right. Okay. Angle we have the machine set at, you're standing behind it, you're seeing it do this. Yep. But what your mind has to be when you're setting these targets is what will that presentation look like out of the stand, not here. Okay, you're seeing here, what's that going to look like out there? So you're going to take that target, the target's going up like that, so imagine you standing over there. So this is what you're going to see when you're over there, okay? These guys want all big targets. They want to see the target. They don't want to see a target on edge like that, even though it makes you focus harder. So now you have a big target, showing a lot of belly, got a little bit of distance on it, a little bit of speed, and now we'll go up and look and see what it looks like.
Numbers out and all.
Got the numbers out.
Hey, Gary knows what he's doing.
I was going to say, you actually like you've done this a couple times, Gary.
Gary is about the best you're going to get.
I just wish I had lactic dinner.
Yeah. You're welcome.
He's about the best you're going to get.
Like I told Joe, I got to do something to make your life interesting.
Oh, you make it interesting.
All right.
Like I told Joe, I said, if you have Gary here while I'm not here, and Gary's in the stand and he goes, that means that target ain't good. Just plain and simple. It has to be. If Gary goes, you're golden. But if Gary doesn't like it, Gary's set targets with me for 15 years, thousands and thousands of targets. He knows a good target when he sees it. He knows what's fair. He knows what's not fair. He knows, he'll look at a target, a set, and he'll shake his head. He'll go like this, but he'll shake his head. He goes, I come back up, he goes, they're gonna miss the shit out of that. And it can be a very simple target. Is that on now?
Let me check that, Joe.
Guys that don't shoot tournaments, guys that don't know how to shoot, will want to come out and break targets. When you put two fast machines in a small hole like this, it makes it way too hard for the average person to shoot them. Speed is one of the biggest things that destroys a shooter when shooting. The speed of the target. If it's fast, it just takes them out of the picture. So these are things that I'm still working on teaching him better, as to make the machine slower in spots like this, small areas like this. If you don't have perfect gun management, you don't have time to correct it when you shoot it. By the time you try to correct it, the bird's already past where you were trying to shoot it.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, as a competitor here, this stand, I miss one of these. It's not a good start. Like, you got to get these.
Yeah, but I'm talking about your weekly. Your
Yeah,
weekly
for the day-to-day.
guys that come in that shoot twice a month or once a month. They come here and they get 0. That's how you lose your customer base.
Yeah, the recreation.
You know, that's recreational. You go over there, you make them hard. People come in. I want to shoot hard targets. You send them over there. They want to have fun. You send them over here.
What, shooting hard targets isn't fun?
To some people it is. Other people it's not.
Just
You
for-
know,
just for-
it depends on the person.
Yeah.
You know, what you're trying to accomplish in this. Are you just out here to have fun with your brother and a couple friends and shoot and then go have lunch somewhere and go fishing afterwards? Or are you out here to better yourself, become a competition shooter and build your ability up to be competitive at the top level? You need to shoot harder targets. Otherwise you'll just stay dormant shooting them simple targets all the time. Your brain won't let you accept putting big leads on stuff. And then you got guys that that just shoot all big stuff, and they miss all this stuff because they're so used to just shooting big targets that they can't just shoot at a target.
Right. Excellence is being able to do the right thing at the right time.
Right. You gotta be versatile. You gotta be able to, you gotta be 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional. You can't be 1-dimensional in sporting clays. There's so many variations of targets, speeds, distances, angles, that it's a lot. It's a lot to compute, and it takes a long time to build a resume in your brain of comfort of, you've shot that target 100 times. You know that target, yeah, I gotta go to the back of that target to shoot it. Oh, this one, I gotta start 3 feet in front of it and then pull away from it. Things like that take a long time to learn how to be a good competitor.
Yeah. Do you think that's why? You know, you're recognized as one of the better target setters in the country? Is that you're essentially setting targets across these more straightforward but also bigger gap gears, and you're really forcing a shooter, you know, to deal with all of it?
Well, I feel as though to be a top shooter, you should be able to break every type of target, every different style you need to learn. You know, you need to have all these techniques for that particular target to shoot. It's just, you gotta be able to do the variety. It's not like, okay, we're gonna set a hard tournament for everybody. Everything's 55-yard crossers. You don't get that. You gotta be able to do both. You know, you gotta be able to shoot the easy and you gotta be able to shoot the hard. And a lot of your shooters don't want to practice the hard targets.
Or the advanced shooters don't want to practice the easy target.
Exactly. I'll get them, they'll come to a shoot and say, oh, that was so easy. That course was way too easy, and they shot at 87. I'm like, well, if it was that easy, why'd you shoot at 87? You should have shot 99. If it's that easy, well, apparently when you make easy targets easy, a lot of your top shooters, if they're competing in a group with other top shooters that they're trying to beat, they have more stress on them about not missing that easy target because John or Jim's not going to miss it. So in their mind, they're like, oh, I got to make, and then they get careful and they miss one. Okay? Joe, we need to back the spring off on that, lower it down. We need to It was built just for this.
Oh, really?
We built it for it. It goes way back. Bring that over here. A good friend of mine and Anthony's, and he was a welder, Jimmy Redmond. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's a hell of a welder. And he said, Joe, I'll build you carts. I said, Jimmy, don't make them too heavy. You know what I mean? So instead of using inch box channel, he uses a 2-inch box channel. The cart itself weighs more than the trap does, you know. And you load it up, fill that thing with targets, you try picking that thing up, it's like, it really kicks your butt. Throw that. Okay. Bring the S to you a little bit. Good, too much probably. So when you're working by yourself, 90% of the time like I was, and in the winter when these get frozen in the ground, if I back that up to it and hook onto it and put a lot of pressure on it, hit that with a sledgehammer, it breaks them out of frozen ground and you're able to move them. So it just makes it easier on moving traps around. You can also gang them up right here, put 5 or 6 of them on there and tell them either way you want to do it. Good. We're good here. Support pair. Bang. Bang. Beautiful. Now tomorrow, after tomorrow, we'll make it a true pair. And the way I set it, it'll be a great true pair just the way it is. Ready?
Yep.
Pull. Bang. Bang. All the time in the world. Okay? You try to plan that out if you have to do a flip. A lot of times I go to these big shoots and 5 o'clock that afternoon, you got to flip 100 targets. You got to change the course. So just like at the World, me and Anthony had strategy. We had to flip that super sporting from prelim to super sporting. We preset traps. We also stocked where targets would be so that we pull that trap, put it over here. We knew to lower that trap, raise it up, whatever we were doing. That way we go through there and we're done in an hour. We're not out there in the dark trying to figure out what we need to move and what kind of problems you have. You'll see other guys that end up in the dark. They end up back there first thing in the morning. They're still not done. But the way I've done it for years and Anthony has done it, we've always pre-programmed everything in our minds. We know we might put a stake over there, a stake there, you know, right with a piece of tape that takes the chandelle over here, this here. When that shoot ends, people drag them machines there and we go, just to make it as fast and as efficient as we can. And that way we're not rushing to the point where we just rushed, didn't have a plan, and we set targets and they end up being terrible because you just rushed and you really didn't, you know, put any time and knowledge into what you were doing.
Right.
This is how you get a better set. Right, and you get a better set.
Let's talk about rabbits for a minute. I hear, you know, some people say, you know, that you really shouldn't throw them in tournaments because they're irregular and unfair. But, you know, what's a well set rabbit in your mind?
Well, basically, it's got to be the right color on the ground. A lot of times you take an orange rabbit on the ground, and if you're throwing it through a grassy area, and as it gets shot up during the week, the grass turns brown, and that orange rabbit starts to disappear in that background, and you can't see it well. I prefer to throw all black rabbits 99% of the time. You can see them better. You can even see a black rabbit running across a black mat. It just stands out. Other than that, you know, as long as if you throw something directly straight away from them, it's really, really a difficult shot. When that rabbit's hard quartering away from you, almost a straightaway, it's a very difficult shot for anybody.
Should there always be a mat?
Yes. Always should be a mat. Somewhere along the line, that rabbit will dig a hole, and then it becomes irregular because it starts hopping. It could be a rabbit you could have a rabbit out there 30 yards with full spring running across there, and then after 2 days of shooting it, it starts hitting this hump, and now it's doing half the speed out there. So now that rabbit's a lot slower at that distance, which is a lot harder to break than a fast moving rabbit.
What about, do you think you need to stake the machine down?
When
You know,
possible, yeah.
Yeah, does stability matter in that?
Yeah, it matters on all machines. You should always try to, if you're going to run an event that's running more than, you're putting a pallet of targets through it, you better stake them down. In that amount of time, something's going to move. You know, most of the time, we use the receiver stakes and pin the back of the machines with that.
You pin the tail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And if you're up on deck, like we have one up here on the platform, it's a 90, it's sprung heavy, and it's on a wooden deck. As that trap gets low, that machine will walk. It'll start walking through the day. So we screw blocks down on both sides of the wheels, plus we pin it in the back. Otherwise that target will travel. It'll change where it is. The other thing, it's still got some speed to it. Okay?
Yep.
So it's got speed. To get rid of speed,
Yep.
what do?
Give it elevation.
No.
Okay.
How can we get rid of speed out here?
Roll.
You can't, the spring's all the way off. You can't get rid of any speed, no more than what's on the machine. There's one way to do it.
All right.
You don't put the trap there. You move the trap back 15, 20 feet back further.
Got
So by the time it comes out here, it's lost speed.
Got you.
Okay?
All right. All right.
Now it's a slower target when they go to shoot it.
Okay.
But if you put it there, it's a big flash and it's
Yep.
hard to see because it's 70. But if it's back in there 15 feet,
All right.
it loses a lot of its momentum.
Yep.
By the time it gets there, gives the shooter more time.
Very good.
Okay. It's pretty much set the way it needs. It just needs more dome when you get it down in there. Tell me what you think you need to do here.
Well, let's see him.
That was not working.
Probably didn't get turned back on again. And what if we do one dunk this way and one dunk that way? Almost two, same height.
I want you to think about what you're going to do for Sunday.
Put one of them up a little bit higher for Sunday. Pull it back up. If we can throw, we got dome on this side, dome coming on this side.
You're going to leave
Both
that trap
thrown.
where it is, basically?
Pull that trap and we'll pull it down here. It'll be easier to load for the guys.
Okay.
And we'll throw it, shoot, out, throw, shoot, out.
So you're just going to throw that one, move that back over further?
Take the back machine, pull it in here.
Right.
Basically both targets are coming like this. 1, 2, both landing out in the center.
Okay. Moving that one out. a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
You want to do that?
yes sir.
You want to move that one and I'll go grab that and drag it up for you?
Yep, good.
The arm, and it does not have a lot of friction against the plate, so it loses spin. Target doesn't have the same spin when they're wet. Okay, and they also slide off. Right-hand machine will slide off further to the right because it slides on the plate instead of the friction and the force of it to keep it in that zone. So when you're setting targets like that, if you're going to have bad weather, you know, a lot of times you get away with a window knowing the weather's good, but if the weather changes, now the target's hitting the tree every other time.